friends, starting soon an unmissable live coverage here on Sailor Today TV. You are watching Sailor Today TV, your unmissable dose of vitamin C. Hello friends, starting soon an unmissable live coverage here on Sailor Today TV.
just a sound check for those people listening in. If you can't hear me, you
Yes,
should wave.
John, I could hear you. You're a bit weak, though. Try again.
Oh, thank you, Jillian. I was just speaking quietly, but hopefully
Okay.
people can hear me now. Thank you.
Yes, that's fine. Thank you.
Jillian, can you make Dr. Maldini Shankar also co-host? Madam is in. It says IMU VC. IMU VC. Can you locate that, Jillian?
Done. So
Yeah.
actually, IMU BC was one of the first ones in. I'm so sorry. I didn't know that was Dr. Shankar.
Yeah. Good afternoon, madam. You can actually unmute. You're a co-host now.
Good afternoon, everybody. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good afternoon. And good day, because there are people who are joining from the good zone to the good evening zone. So good day to all of you.
True. So just for those who are joined, we are just waiting for, everybody is in. We are just waiting for clearance from the IMO's office, and then we'll start the event.
So Vinod, I do believe that we are ready to go now.
Yes, I'm just waiting for Alexandra's clearance. Yeah, I think he is. Yeah.
She has sent me that clearance.
Okay, right. So
I am now going to speaker view.
yes, and I would like to share my screen. Jillian, just let me know once you see my screen.
I will. I do see your screen.
Okay, thank you. So let's start. So on behalf of the Nautical Institute India Southwest branch, the Nautical Institute London, and all its branches across the globe, I welcome the IMO Secretary General, distinguished guests, speakers, seafarers, seafarers associations, various maritime organizations from different parts of the world. A big namaste to all of you from India. I welcome all of you to the Nautical Institute event number 12, the Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Kitak Lim, Secretary General, IMO. Just to help us keep the event on schedule, request all to turn off their microphones, turn off the videos if that comes in way of the bandwidth. But please feel free to use the chat box. You can put your identity in the chat box. You can ask a question. You can provide a comment, and don't forget to put your email ID if you want us to respond to your comment or the question. Thank you, media, for being the voice of the maritime. As you know, this event is also broadcast live on the Nautical Institute Facebook page, as well as live telecast on Sailor Today TV. There's always this question, especially from somebody who's outside the industry, what is shipping or what is maritime? Considering the occasion, I would try my best to give a reply, but I promise I will keep it under 2 minutes. As you can see, somebody up from probably up there in Canada would like to have a Brazilian coffee. Somebody from Chile, South America would like to have, would desire to have a Sony laptop, or somebody down in South Africa desires to have winter clothing, probably up from Russia. So it is this desire of billions of people across the world which led to a small little thought. How are we going to fulfill the desires of these billions of people? And it is that thought which actually gave rise to what we call as shipping today. And it is that small thought that also led to a chain of actions. You know, somebody there put up his hand and said, okay, we will design those ships. The shipyard said, we will build those ships. The ship owner says, we will buy and operate and manage those ships. The regulatory authority says, okay, we will regulate those ships. And the university says, okay, we will generate the next generation of workforce. The ports put up their hands and said, we will take those ships in. And of course, the seafarers, who are one of the most important link in that chain, said, we will operate those ships. So if you ask me what is shipping, in one sentence, I would define shipping is nothing but desires of people. And mind you, billions of such people. The maritime industry got together and they delivered those desires of people who are separated by the oceans, divided by the continents. I would say they just did not deliver their desires, but they delivered happiness to mankind all across the globe. And in 1959, gave birth to one of the most important organizations in shipping. Later in 1982, what we come to know as IMO today. IMO is committed to Mother Earth to fulfill the desires of all those billions of people, and yet ensure cleaner oceans and safer seas. Isn't that a huge commitment? And aren't we all, being part of this maritime industry, lucky to be part of such a maritime industry? Let's remain committed. So on that note of commitment, let me invite Captain Joseph Alapart, FNI Vice Chairman of Nautical Institute Southwest Branch, who's also the Deputy Conservator of the Cochin Port Trust, to welcome the distinguished guests. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Captain Vinod. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, sir.
A very good day to everyone attending this event from wherever you are in the world. When I was setting out on my sea career, ready to join the academy, I went to see an old sea captain whom I knew for some advice, who told me, "Son, God created 3 types of people on earth." "3 types?" I asked. "Yes," he said. "Men, women, and seamen. And we will see if you have it in you to become one of those 3rd category of people." Well, our chief guest today is one person who, by his every action, affects all these 3 types of people. Seamen naturally cannot be but affected by anything that IMO does. And so also are all men and women of the world, because anything that IMO does affects shipping. And all of us know only too well, shipping affects the whole world. Shipping is among the most international of all industries and so omnipresent in our lives. It is like the air we breathe. It is all around us, not always seen, but we just couldn't live without it. Mr. Kitak Lim, the Secretary General of the IMO, His experience in almost all aspects of shipping, starting with his service in the Korean Navy and shipping, coming ashore to the Korea Maritime and Port Administration, and participating in IMO meetings since 1986 as part of the South Korean delegation, and also as the Maritime Attaché with the Embassy of South Korea in London. Thereafter, he was appointed the Director General of Maritime Policy Bureau at the Ministry of Land, Transport and Maritime Affairs, and went on to become the President of the Busan Port Authority, till he was elected the Secretary General of the IMO in 2016, and is now into his second term. So it's a great honor that you have consented to be part of this program on behalf of the Nautical Institute, the India Southwest branch. A very warm welcome to today's event. When you have the top person in world shipping on the program, we have to have some of the most eminent people to accompany him. And it is indeed an honor to have Sri Sanjay Bhatia, Uplokayukta of the state of Maharashtra on this program. Sri Bhatia is here to share with us his experiences in his past avatar as the chairman of the Mumbai Port Trust and also of the Indian Ports Association. Mumbai was very seriously affected by the pandemic, and it was a huge challenge to keep the port operating in the midst of all that. And through it all, Mumbai Port managed to carry out the maximum number of cruise sign-offs, with all the large cruise ships choosing Mumbai to land their Indian seafarers. If I may be permitted to add that Cochin, the port that I work for, has managed the highest sign-on of Indian seafarers. Sri Bhatia is a mechanical engineer by training with a master's in business administration before joining the Indian Administrative Service batch of 1985. Bhatia Saab has served on various capacities in numerous government positions, both at the center as well as the state of Maharashtra, and has won many notable accolades and awards during his career. So it's a great honor to have you as a part of this program. And on behalf of the Nautical Institute, the India Southwest branch, a warm welcome to today's event. Dr. Maldini Shankar is also an officer of the Indian Administrative Service from the 1984 batch and has served in various important government posts over a long career, culminating as the Director General of Shipping, the equivalent of the Secretary General in India. Since then, Madam has continued her association with shipping, having since taken over as the Vice Chancellor of the Indian Maritime University and Chairperson of the National Shipping Board. Madam has a master's degrees from Manila as well as Massachusetts, and a doctoral degree from IIT Madras. Madam, you have done so much for shipping and seafaring in this country and continue to do so, and it is a great honor to have you on the program. And on behalf of the Nautical Institute, the India Southwest branch, may I extend a warm welcome to today's event. In order to give us a perspective of the Indian ship owners through the challenges of this pandemic, we're very pleased to have with us Sri Anil Devli, the CEO of the Indian Ship Owners Association, INSA, as it is popularly known. Sri Devli is a well-known figure in shipping circles who works tirelessly to protect the interests of the Indian ship owners. Sir, we are very happy to have you on this program, and on behalf of the Nautical Institute, the India Southwest branch, a warm welcome to today's event. Coming to the seafarers and their challenges, we are extremely honored to have Captain Andy Winbo, Chair of the International Seafarers Welfare and Assistance Network, or ISWAN in short. Captain Winbo, a fellow of the Nautical Institute, who after his sailing career has spent a long time at the IMO as Director of Maritime Safety Division and retired as the Assistant Secretary General of the IMO. The work that ISWAN does for the benefit of seafarers is well known to everybody. A warm welcome to Captain Winbo to this program. This has been a challenging year for seafarer welfare associations, and we look forward to hearing about it from you, sir. From the Nautical Institute headquarters, we are proud to have our president, Ms. Jillian Carson Jackson, who started off as a navigating officer and later instructor in the Canadian Coast Guard, and then on to ILA in France, and on to AMSA in Australia, where she currently resides. Welcome to this program, Ms. Jillian, and thank you for all your support for this program and to our branch. Also, warm welcome to our CEO, Captain John Lloyd, who began his sailing career in '76, moving to pilotage in Namibia before a career in education around the globe, beginning from Wasatch to Vanuatu and then on to Tasmania. We thank you for all your support and recalling your visit to our branch in 2018. For you, John, it's welcome back. From the India Southwest branch, a warm welcome to our president, Captain Tom Joseph, our founding president, Captain Jose K. Thomas, and past president, Captain John Menezes. and also the past president of Nautical Institute, Captain Krish, who is now residing on these shores. Very specially to our very hardworking secretary, Captain Vinod Naveen, who is the driving force of this program here at the India Southwest branch. A warm welcome also to all the other office bearers and members of the Nautical Institute and the various branches around the world. In the present abnormal times that we live in, we are dependent on the virtual medium to get through to all of you. And in that effort, we are helped by the various platforms such as Facebook Live or the Nautical Institute page, media houses such as Sailor Today, who are live streaming this program on their YouTube channel, and also Bandaka Publication, Marix, CN Job, Sagar Sandesh. A warm welcome to all of you. The warmest welcome goes out to each and every one of you participating in this event from wherever you may be, on land or sea, man, woman, or seaman. It is your presence in this program that is a real honor to our chief guest and the other eminent speakers, and also to us. You are the heart and soul of the program, and the warmest welcome to each and every one of you. In conclusion, may I please be excused for slipping into the vernacular to wish everyone Swagatam, which is welcome, Nani, which is thank you, and Namaskaram, which is, well, Namaskaram. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Captain Joseph Pallapatan. Let me use this opportunity to congratulate you and your team at Cochin Port, which has become a gateway for sign-on and sign-off of seafarers, and probably having done more than 12,000 engagements in the last couple of months. So congrats to you, sir.
Thank you.
Next up, let me invite Ms. Jillian Carson Jackson, the president of the Nautical Institute London, joining us from Canberra, Australia. She would talk to us about maritime during this challenging COVID times. Over to you, Jillian.
Thank you so much, Vinod. It has been such a pleasure to get to know you and to work with you over the months of these events that we've had. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. To all of the distinguished guests, and especially to Secretary General of the IMO, Mr. Kip Tak Lim. It is a pleasure and an honor to be here. Very humbling to hear of those words that we had of welcome, and of all the wonderful people who are participating in this event online, through the Zoom and through the various social media. The Nautical Institute is a membership institute. It is the organization for maritime professionals, with over 7,000 members connected through a branch network of over 70 branches. It is through this Nautical Institute that I have come to learn and come to have a family of professionalism, with the connection that we have across the globe using the different systems and the different platforms. These events are only possible because of the dedication of a very few people, the Nautical Institute Southwest India branch, their executive, and Captain Vinod. The effort that has gone into organizing these certificates of appreciation has been very well received and has very much been recognized. During these difficult times of COVID-19, there has been so many challenges that have been put in front of seafarers. But seafarers are very resilient. Maritime professionals are constantly looking for solutions. We're always looking for ways to make something work. It's like when you're at sea and something breaks. You don't have the piece to fix it. You sort something out to make it work. Well, during COVID-19, we have been working very hard to support seafarers, recognizing that it's very difficult for all who are at sea at this time. But not only that, it's very difficult for the families at home, and the challenges that are being faced by maritime as a whole, by the ports, the port authorities, the VTS operators, by the organizations, and of course, by the international organizations who are working to try and support seafarers and to facilitate crew change. From the very beginning, the IMO has been there, pleading the case of the seafarer at the highest level, working to develop protocols, and implementing the Seafarer Crisis Action Team, the SCAT team. I love the name. This leadership at the highest level provides the vision for all levels to move forward. Through these difficult times, the Nautical Institute has been working hard to support its members, but also to support all seafarers, all maritime professionals. And it is truly an honor and a privilege to be participating in these events. And I do wish all of them a very welcome to this event. And I look forward, as at each event, to learning more and to sharing the knowledge that we have across the globe of the maritime professional. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jillian, and a big thank you from the Nautical Institute Southwest branch for supporting us all throughout this campaign of Certificate of Appreciation. Thank you once again. To talk to us about the campaign of Certificate of Appreciation and also about the Nautical Institute, let me invite Captain John Lloyd, CEO of Nautical Institute, London. Over to you, Captain John.
Thank you, Captain Vinod. Your Excellency, honoured guest, thank you so much for joining us today. It's a great pleasure to see you all here on this great occasion. And I'm going to come to the certificates of appreciation in just a few moments. To start with, I'd just like to remind all of the participants about the work that the Nautical Institute has been doing since we began this unprecedented challenge of dealing with the COVID-19 outbreak. I think one of the challenges we face for all of us is business continuity, if we can call it that. And for us as a professional body, it was very important that we continued to support our members and continue to support the global community of mariners by providing sources of information that could be referred to in a readily accessible way. And so we dedicated a portion of our website to really important messages, and there's so much information out there. What we wanted to do was to distill and share the best information free of charge to every user that logs into our website, and we've been very successful in doing that. The other thing we wanted to make sure that we continued with was our core mission of supporting continuing professional development. And we had to change our methodology, of course, and we moved our short course training delivery to go online. And very importantly, we've hosted a series of weekly seminars on webinars, which people have joined in to share their experiences on a range of technical subjects. Because although we're dealing with COVID-19 and it's got immense challenges, it's important that we continue with our message of supporting continuing professional development. And sometimes when times are tough, it can be very easy to get fractious, get angry with people. And there's no doubt that we are all sharing the frustration of seeing hundreds of thousands of seafarers stuck away from their homes and a large number unable to return to the workplace. And it's easy to become negative and critical of the actions that people are taking. So one of the things that we wanted to do through our certificates of appreciation was, instead of criticizing people for bad practice, let's put a positive spotlight on the actions which are being taken in an effective way to support the maritime community, to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts as the professional body for maritime professionals, to say thank you for the work that's going on. And I do want to say thank you to the team from the branches in India, the Southwest branch in particular, who's taken a great leadership role in promoting these. Thank you to one of the vice presidents, Walter, for bringing out this idea into the forefront. But today is really about saying thank you to His Excellency Kitak Lim and to the International Maritime Organization for the leadership and fortitude and direction which they have shown in the past months. It is difficult. We know it's difficult. And to stand up and be counted when times are difficult is really important. It shows leadership. It shows an example of what we should expect from other people. And if the rest of the world could work as effectively as the IMO in bringing people together, I don't think we'd be facing the repatriation challenges that we are doing at the moment. It is tough. Your Excellency, thank you so much on behalf of all of this community, on behalf of seafarers worldwide, for the work that you've done. And I'm going to hand back to Captain Vinod, who will make the presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Captain John. I should say that without your support and without the support from London, the Nautical Institute Southwest branch couldn't have come this far. So thank you once again to you and to your team at London. Jillian, if you could make Walter co-host, if you have not made one, and I would just like to share my presentation once again. Can you see my presentation, Jillian?
Yes.
Okay, so did you know that the cup of coffee that we sip every day morning, or the clothes that we wear right throughout our day, or the car that we drive to the office, or the variety of food that we consume during the course of the day, the stationery that we use at the office, or even the bed that we go to sleep at the end of the day, did you know that almost everything that you use in your daily life, it has had the seafarer's touch before your touch? Because everything has in some way or the other had its root via the seas. And I think everybody knows by now that there is a team that is working tirelessly behind this. The team at IMO, along with its 174 members, have been tirelessly working behind all this. And did you know the man who leads that team, the man who's the custodian of the seas, the man who protects 3/4 of this world, is right here with us on your screen today. His Excellency, Mr. Ki-Tak Lim, Secretary General of IMO. Thank you, sirs. Thank you so much for being with us today. I will just take a minute to call upon Walter. As Captain John said, he's the brainchild behind bringing out the certificate. Mr. Walter, can you hear me? Okay, Captain John, would you please present the certificate of appreciation to His Excellency Mr. Ki-Tak Lim?
Yeah, Your Excellency, there's no more to say. I can't add to what I said before. It is a great honour to present you with this certificate of appreciation on behalf of the Nautical Institute, on behalf of the global maritime community. We thank you for your time today in accepting this award, and we take great pride in sharing the work that the IMO has done with our colleagues in the maritime community, and thank you for accepting this award, sir.
Jillian, a word from you.
Most certainly. It's very difficult to add to all of the words that have already been said. It is such an unprecedented time, and during unprecedented time, we need to take and to enact unprecedented actions. There is a saying that to come to a place you have not been, you have to go by a road that you've never traveled before. We are all traveling a road that we had not traveled before and never anticipated traveling. We need and we welcome the leadership that has been shown from the International Maritime Organization by the whole team that have been there, and the leadership through all the various international organizations working together, coming together to support seafarers and their families and all maritime professionals at this time. So congratulations and thank you so much for that leadership. It's a small token, but it's very heartfelt.
Thank you, Jillian. May I now invite His Excellency, Mr. Ki-Tak Lim, the Secretary General at IMO. Yes, he's got the certificate with him. Sir, over to you, sir.
Excellencies, seafarers, ladies and gratitude for the certificate of appreciation awarded for the effort of the IMO to support maritime community. And of course, our seafarers in these unprecedented times. It is an honor to accept this award and to see I am recognized by the Nautical Institute, one of the most prestigious maritime institutes, also representing seafarers. I'm very honored on behalf of the IMO. The spread of the coronavirus has placed the entire world in an unprecedented situation. In these difficult times, the ability of shipping services and the seafarers to deliver vital goods, including medical supplies, food, those is central to the responding to the pandemic. Shipping and maritime is at the heart of the recovery of the pandemic. Therefore, it is crucially important that the flow of commerce by sea should not be unnecessarily disrupted. At the same time, the safety of life at the sea and the protection of the marine environment also remain paramount. For this, we must recognize the more than 1 million seafarers operating the world merchant shipping. Their dedication and professionalism in these challenging times is worthy of our great admiration and thanks. However, there is an unprecedented humanitarian and safety crisis impacting seafarers. Hundreds of thousands of seafarers remain trapped on ships, and others are unable to join ships due to travel restrictions imposed due to the pandemic. They are fatigued and weary. IMO established the Seafarers Crisis Action Team SCAT at the beginning of this crisis to help resolve individual cases, often working alongside other organizations like International Labour Organization, International Transport Organization, Transport Workers Federation, and ICS, and other institutes like Nautical Institute. Together with our industry partners and colleagues in the World Health Organization and other UN agencies like ICAO, ILO, UNCTAD, WTO, IMO has been developing and issuing practical advice and guidance on a variety of technical and operational matters to facilitate international trade and coordinate responses. It is imperative that government implement the protocols allowing stranded seafarers at the end of their contract to others to join ships and replace them. I recognize that many countries, member states, have acted to facilitate the crew changes, but the others have not done enough. We are at the critical point now. We must and will continue to work with all stakeholders to resolve these issues. Never has the spirit of cooperation been more important than it is now. We have to protect the seafarers so that they protect shipping and the global supply chain. IMO is determined to progress on its major policy issues despite the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. We have rescheduled remote session of IMO meetings in the second half of this year. IMO, we are determined to continue with our regulatory agendas so that the shipping can be safer, cleaner, more efficient, and sustainable in the future. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, maritime transport is and will remain a vital global link in supporting sustainable international trade. I can assure you that IMO, as a global regulator of international shipping, is ready to establish new partnerships for cooperation and the sustainable economic recovery. In all these efforts, the support and engagement of all IMO stakeholders, and very importantly, NGOs in IMO's work has been a crucial asset toward the progress of IMO key policies. In this regard, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to Nautical Institute and Nautical Institute India branch for its continued support to IMO, and reiterate my gratitude for this certificate of appreciation. I wish you all the best and every success. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, His Excellency. Thank you for recognizing all the maritime organization and especially the seafarers. You know, they are the heart of maritime. And from the India Southwest branch, it is a dream come true to have you speak on our event, sir. And the certificate that I see behind on your table is something that personally I'm going to cherish for the rest of my life. Thank you, sir. Thank you once again for having us. Thank you for all the leadership from IMO. Thank you. As you know, the ports, how important and vital role the ports play for the economy of a country or for the entire globe. And the port sector has also had its share of challenges during the COVID times. So let me invite Mr. Sanjay Bhatia, the former chairman of one of the most efficient and busiest port in India, the Mumbai Port Trust, as well as the former chairman of Indian Ports Association. Over to you, sir.
Okay. Thanks, Vinod. Your Excellency, Mr. Kaitak Lim, all the dignitaries present here, members of the Nautical Institute, lots of friends I can see who are present here. It's a pleasure for me to be here today representing the port sector. In fact, I must tell you that in the last 6 months, Indian port sector did quite well. Initially, there were a lot of big problems. We had to work with about 15 to 20% of the manpower, but nowhere there was any stoppage. The maximum affected were Mumbai Port and JNPT because the maximum COVID was there. But we were able to plan out in such a way that there were working hostels kept for the all the people who were working. They were not traveling anywhere because there was so much fear at that time that nobody wanted to come. But it was quite successful, and some of the stakeholders did get affected because they were not able to lift their cargo, and we had to then, through Government of India, give those demurrage and penalty. But slowly, I think in about 1.5 to 2 months time of the lockdown, the whole thing started easing. April and May, the cargo. But what I understand now, it's catching up, and probably by the end of the year we will be same as last year. But the best lessons which were learned were that the port started working on e-office. So if this COVID had not happened, probably e-office, computerization and all those things, number of initiatives were taken. In fact, this COVID period was utilized by the shipping ministry to talk to all the stakeholders and prepare a new vision. So we have now prepared 2030 vision for the port sector in the country, which new ports are going to come up, what modernization is required, what digitization is required, how the cruises have to move. So all those things are there. Also, like I said, it was a learning experience that we can work with 20 to 25% of the employees also. And so that is going to be a lesson which is going to be utilized in the future. I am very sure that in the next 6 months, COVID or no COVID, the cargo is going to catch up. Indian cities are coming back to normal with the masks and the social distancing. All the activities have started. So my expectation of the port sector is that it will do well in the next 6 months. and then again the normal progression which was happening earlier will start. I thank the Nautical Institute for organizing this and inviting me, and especially the Secretary General IMO being present here and taking this certificate. It's a great occasion for all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Sanjay Bhatia, sir. Yes, it has been, I think you have done quite well, as ports are the gateway to the economy of any country, and your events are. Before I invite the next speaker, let me quickly extend a warm welcome to all my colleagues at the Indian Maritime University. Next speaker will not spare me for that. Up next, we have Dr. Maldini Shankar, who was the former Director General of Shipping, and as Captain Alapat mentioned in the welcome address, equivalent to the Secretary General in India. And Madam is now the Vice Chancellor of the Indian Maritime University. Over to you, Madam.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. Your Excellency, the Secretary General of IMO, Mr. Kai Tak Lim, Jillian Carson, Captain John Lloyd, Captain Vinod Naveen, Doyens of the Maritime sector, and members of the Nautical Institute. It's indeed a pleasure to share the forum with all of you. At the outset, I'd like to felicitate the Nautical Institute for taking this very novel initiative in recognizing the contribution of so many people, behind the curtain, so to say, people who are unseen and have been working hard to, as Captain Vinod Naveen said, to get Brazilian coffee to Canada and Sony to Argentina and whatnot. The virus has been pretty cataclysmic. The sole consolation is that it's affected the entire world equally, which is not normally the case with cataclysms. The response has been slow, steady, and growing. It's disturbed the daily rhythm of life. It's disturbed the supply chains. It's destroyed jobs and broken the economy. And at the same time, the seafarers kept chugging along, restoring the supply chains, restoring the economy. And I'd like to particularly point out two aspects in which the Indian maritime sector, this is shipping, ports, and the administration, has been working hard. On the front end is the tremendous coordination between the stakeholders, the federal and state government, the maritime authorities, the ports, the manning companies, the unions and associations of the seafarers to enable crew change, to enable crew transport. So it's not just crew change, as in, I remember this was not in Mumbai, but in one state, they said, yes, we don't mind the crew leaving the state, but we have problems with the crew entering the state because of quarantine. So these nitty-gritty matters had to be sorted out with coordination. New quarantine centers had to be set up. Some of them set it up. Mr. Sanjay Bhatia actually set up in the Bombay Port Trust something called the COVID ashram, if I am not mistaken, which was very well received by the seafarers, and special attention was paid by him and his team to ensure that they were taken care of. Similarly, the DG Shipping and his team actually had to go out of the way to ensure that the crew who got off at other ports, it could be somewhere in the Middle East, it could be, in fact, a hub was created somewhere in the Middle East so that special flights could be sent there to get them home and to take them out there. So I think more than 100,000 crew changes took place in a very short time, and this required tremendous coordination and cooperation. So at the back end, the DG Shipping and the ministry has been working hard to promote digitalization, to promote e-governance, and step by step, all these measures have borne good fruit. And today, I think there has been, like Mr. Sanjay Bhatia said, but for the pandemic, we would not have seen e-governance taking off as rapidly as it did. But all the tremendous effort that has gone on behind the scene has borne tremendous, excellent results that the seafarers have been able to benefit from in terms of renewals, in terms of permissions, in terms of passes, etc. So that's two aspects of the back end and the front end. As the economy picks up, it's picking up already, like it was mentioned. For example, I've had the courage to fly out, take a flight finally, of my first flight in 7 months, braving what the challenges at the airports and the roads. And we have to be prepared for growth of the maritime sector. The Ministry of Shipping has identified, as part of the Vision 2030. Sir, Your Excellency, I'd like to say that for the first time, I see so much emphasis from the Government of India, and particularly from the Honorable Minister of State for Shipping. A key thrust area that will be in one of the key thrust areas that he has identified is the enhancement of maritime education and training. It's quite unprecedented. The Vision 2030, among other things, refers to enhancement of courses, dual degrees, joint degrees, collaborations, and research in identified areas that go beyond the technical towards maritime economics, maritime finance, and maritime law. Research that is both topical as well as futuristic, which would mean preparing the Indian seafarers and maritime professionals for artificial intelligence, blockchain, and the most advanced technologies. This, I think, sir, is an opportune moment to review the structure and content of maritime education and training in India and strengthen all legs of it: academic, which includes faculty advancement, faculty refresher training, research, including funded research for which we would like to seek support from the Nautical Institute, from the IMO, and from the WMU, and of course, continually strengthening e-governance and digitalization. With the cooperation and collaboration of all like-minded maritime organizations and professionals, we hope to take the Indian Maritime University and its associated and affiliated institutions to levels that it deserves. In particular, we seek collaborations, both domestic and international, particularly with the IMO and the WMU, in terms of joint courses, online courses, internships, faculty exchange, and research projects. Shipping indeed builds bridges across nations, like someone has put it on the chat. And one positive aspect of this pandemic has been that, but for this, I don't think I would have met so many of you, at least virtually. It would have been impossible. So let us keep connected and let us grow together. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I think you covered all the sectors in India. And yes, why not the ministry as well as the DG Shipping? I was just seeing the report put up on DG Shipping site today. They have done 160,000 crew sign-on, sign-off over the last 6 months. And that is tremendous considering the restrictions that we have. And especially the work that you have done when you're at the DG, the digitalization process is definitely giving dividends now. And we hope the Indian Maritime University, you will do the same kind of work. Thank you once again, ma'am. Well, if you look at the effect of this pandemic, and if I have to call who's at the epicenter of this pandemic, I would say it would be the ship owners. You know, they are always at the receiving end. And our next speaker, let me invite Mr. Anil Devli, the CEO of the Indian National Ship Owners Association, to speak to us about that. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Captain Vinod. Your Excellency, Kitakling, Namaskar, and greetings from India. My greetings to Mr. John Lloyd, Ms. Jillian, Carson, Sanjay Bhatia Sahab, who has always been a friend and a guide to the industry. Good to see you again. Dr. Maldini Shankar, good to see you too, and happy to see that you're finally in Chennai. So all the best to you. Captain Joseph Alabat of Cochin Port, greetings to you and to the port for being one of those ports that supported Indian shipping during these, and Indian seafarers during these difficult days. During the pandemic, I think most leaders, whether I would say Mr. Bhatia for our 1 year, who took tremendous steps to help us within the shipping industry, whether it is the DG shipping who's absent today, but to me, Dr. Maldini Shankar stands for the DG shipping also. All of these leaders had with the national borders and local issues. And however, Your Excellency, has been somebody who has had to look beyond those local borders, beyond those local problems. We as ship owners who work internationally and who operate along the 7,500 kilometer coastline, we understand how difficult it is to be able to get 28 states and 8 union territories to think together. Believe me, it's a major challenge. And therefore, I don't want to be in your seat at all. One can imagine the amount of humongous job that IMO does, the IMO team does, everybody at IMO does in trying to coordinate so many nations, so many people, so many thoughts, so many ideas, and try and bring everything together. So I would just say that thought alone is something that teaches me of how small we are and how large the IMO and its team is, and completely more than justifies we saying thanks to you all over again. I'm going to use this opportunity, sir, to just put across a few points on behalf of the owners. There are about 3 lakh Indian seafarers who operate worldwide in various ships, and I speak on behalf of them alone, not just the Indian ship owners. These 3 lakh seafarers are on various ships, Indian ships, foreign ships, more on foreign ships, less on Indian ships, given our size. But one of the most important things that has impacted Indian ship owners and ship owners worldwide has been this cost of crew change. While one has tried to be sensitive to the needs of people and try and ensure that we are able to cater to what needs to be done, Your Excellency, you may be aware by now that the cost of crew change has gone up 3 times over. It is therefore exceedingly costly to be able to change somebody into UK. We've had a situation some time ago where a person from India had to travel to Dubai, had to travel to Qatar, from Qatar to London, and London back to Dubai. And the off-signer had to go the same way around just to come back to India. This is the kind of cost that we are paying. Intermediaries have taken complete advantage of this situation, and there is a need to try and see what could be done worldwide to control these intermediaries who have taken advantage of this situation. The problems are unintended, but we have to have intentional solutions to this. The second issue is we thank you for having pursued this whole project of getting a seafarer to be listed as a key worker. And I think this is exceedingly important. I personally know what Mr. Bhatia, and I'm sorry I keep going back, but we must at these times go back and say thank you to those who helped us front end. And I know Mr. Bhatia and his team at Mumbai Port were at the forefront, and the way they assisted us in our coastal movements and in the movement of our people, this whole important, and that time this whole thought of key work was not there, but Mumbai Port went forward and said, it's important to help the guys who are working at the ports, not just the seafarer, but the guy on the shore also. And we thank you, IMO and Mr. Kitaklim, Your Excellency, for having taken that up. But I believe it's not important just to stop at the seafarer. Shipping must be declared an essential service. And this is what we have shown during, I'm proud today, I say this to my family and my friends, in all of these days of the pandemic, ships did not stop working for an hour. All ships continued to sail, we continued carrying cargo. And on the coast, the IPA, Indian ports, will bear us out. They supported us wonderfully. There were times when we have gone back to Dr. Maldini Shankar, and I must take this opportunity to say thank you to her. not being the Director General of Shipping, yet she used her personal skills, her personal friendships, and has helped us so much. And this is meant to say thank you to the IMO, but I'm going to say thank you to my people who did so much for us. And I really can't say anything more. So I'm sorry. It's been a wonderful moment. It has taught us who are our friends, who are there to stand by us, and how during these times everybody has gone that one length extra. Everybody is available on the phone. Nobody stopped taking our phones. So I think this is exceedingly wonderful. We just have two large suggestions to make of the Nautical Institute. One is that there is need to educate the world at large at what IMO does for the common man. We, amongst only our community, know what IMO is all about and what IMO has done. But we have to realize that the petrol in our cars come because of some action somewhere remotely by shipping, and therefore IMO. Lastly, I think there is a need for IMO to call for standardization of agency and crew changes worldwide. That has to be the first step, and we must get that as the fruit of the problem that we had to go through. The fruit of the pandemic must be some standardization of crew cost, standardization of agency charges, and standardization of protocol for testing our seafarers. Our seafarers have to be stopped from having these vagaries of testing in one country A and in one country B. It cannot work this way. These are the few suggestions that we have. Once again, thank you everybody for assisting us, supporting us, and we as ship owners say grateful thanks to all of you. Once again, His Excellency Kitaklin, you and your team at IMO, grateful to all of you for your effort. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Mr. Anil Devli. Yes, the point that you mentioned about to the Nautical Institute is well noted, and I'm sure the Secretary General's office also had made a point of what you suggested. Thank you, seafarers. You use that, and I think how much ever we say thank you, it is not enough. But I have the next speaker who works for them all throughout. So let me invite Captain Andy Wenbo, the chair of ICE1, to speak on behalf of the seafarers. Over to you, Captain Andy.
Thank you very much. It's thanks to the Nautical Institute and, of course, its members in India for inviting me to take part. I'm very pleased to be involved and to say a few words today. As we all know, seafarers and their families face unique challenges due to the particular circumstances of working at sea. As an ex-seafarer myself, I know well how seafarers plan their lives months or even years in advance, based on expected voyage lengths and leave patterns, crossing the days off the calendar towards going home. Knowing in advance that your next leave will mean joining your family at Christmas, or being home for your wife's birthday, or in time for the birth of your first child, is not only a comfort, but also helps to maintain those key family and emotional ties. Sometimes, of course, things go wrong, ships are delayed, and plans not met, but usually for understandable maritime reasons. These cause anguish to seafarers and their families alike. But how much more anguish and stress, depression, fatigue, and general misery is being caused today, when for many seafarers whose contracts ended months ago, there is still, sadly, no end in sight. For the shipping industry, concerns about the possible effect of COVID-19 on international trade very quickly extended to concerns about the health and well-being of seafarers, as national restrictions are having a direct effect on them, limiting or preventing crew changes, denying access to medical facilities ashore, and imposing new restrictions on movement of people, goods, and services. The global news stories about COVID-19 on a number of passenger ships in various ports of the world only made public concerns worse and reinforced the idea that ships, their passengers and crews were a source of the virus. And of course, the easiest way to deal with that was to exclude them and keep them as far away as possible. Unfortunately, the needs of foreign ships and their international crews come a distant second to the needs to protect a country's own population. As we all know, it's long been the practice to appoint and relieve seafarers in those ports. At a practical level, the organisation that I have the pleasure to chair, ISWAN, has provided assistance and support to seafarers and their families. Calls to the ISWAN 24-hour free seafarer helpline have tripled since mental well-being is clear. ISWAN has boosted its helpline staff and produced a short video providing mental health advice. And amongst many other things, ISWAN has aided the return home of seafarers from India stuck in a UK college, Indian seafarers stuck elsewhere in the world, like the UAE, given out food to Filipino seafarers stranded in Manila, and repatriated the remains of sadly deceased seafarers from another part of the world. And on top of this, where funds permit, provided financial support to seafarers and their families in cases of urgent medical need. And I should here express my sincere thanks to all our funders and industry donors who make this work possible. Taking place at sea. The situation is reportedly improving, albeit too slowly, as hundreds of thousands of seafarers remain in limbo on board or ashore. We must therefore all continue to work together to improve the situation in any way we can. We must do everything possible to persuade governments of the need to remove restrictions on crew travel and to treat seafarers as key workers, and mean it. And above all, we must continue, all of us, to offer support to the seafarers and their families that are so adversely affected. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Captain Andy Wenbo. Yes, it is because of associations like ISWAN, and it's a big relief for seafarers. We have NUSI, we have MUI in India, and what is more heartening today is we have seafarers associations today at a very local level. You know, there are many organizations which has come up for the cause of seafarers. That is very heartening to know. Let me now, as we come to the end of the event, let me now hand over to Captain Tom Joseph, who's the current chairman of the Nautical Institute Southwest Branch, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Vinod. Honorable Kitak Lim, Secretary General IMO, distinguished speakers and guests. It has been more than 6 months since the COVID-19 pandemic has affected the global shipping severely, with almost 400,000 seafarers out of 1.2 million across the globe overstaying on board, some of them for even 17 to 18 months at a stretch. Those on board were totally disturbed, not only for not getting signed off in time, but also due to the worries of near and dear ones back home. Some have even gone mentally wrecked, whereas others could not concentrate on their jobs, the safety of the vessel and crew being compromised. Their leavers back home, they were financially
May I request the cameras to be turned off so that you don't have a bandwidth issue?
Large companies and few trading ships could take deviation and arranges at some port. Let me take this opportunity to bring to the kind attention of Honorable Secretary General and the concerned administrations that crew change is still a far dream for many, particularly those seafarers employed offshore, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, etc., where visa and flights are not yet open. IMO wanted every member nations to be declared seafarers as key workers, but only about 13 nations have done that so far. I am hopeful that IMO, in consultation with other administrations owing allegiance to the international body, will achieve this sooner than later. It is certainly befitting that this event is dedicated to the most concerned person as far as seafarers are concerned, that is Mr. Kitak Lim, Secretary General of International Maritime Organization. Needless to mention that We are extremely happy to host you, sir, and to appreciate your good work to ease the perils faced by the seafarers due to the pandemic. Thank you very much, sir, for finding time out of your busy schedule to speak to us about the challenges faced by the international shipping and for accepting the token of our appreciation. Congratulations as well, sir. Mr. Sanjay Bhatia, IAS, former chairman of Mumbai Port Trust, has spoken to us as to how the Indian faced the COVID-19 challenge. Thank you very much, sir, for accepting our invitation and gracing this virtual meeting. Dr. Maldini Shankar, IAS, Vice Chancellor of Indian Maritime University and former chairperson of the National Shipping Board, was kind enough to accept our invitation for a second time. Having been the Director General of Shipping in the immediate past, she is but the apt person to have talked to us about how the Indian administration has coped with the challenges thrown by the pandemic, particularly so since Mr. Amitabh Kumar, IRS, Director General of Shipping, could not make it to this event. Thank you, Madam, for being with us and speaking to us. Let me also thank Mr. Amitabh Kumar, IRS, Director General of Shipping, for all that he is doing for the betterment of Indian seafarers and Indian shipping. We have Mr. Anil Dev, Chief Executive Officer of Indian National Shipowners Association here in this virtual meeting. He was kind enough to accept our invitation and speak to us how the shipowners are coping with the challenges posed by the pandemic. On behalf of the Nautical Institute, I thank you, sir, for gracing this occasion. Captain Andy Winbo, Chair of ISWAN, also is with us for a second time. Who else could be better placed to explain the predicament of seafarers than him? Thank you, Captain Andy, for being the voice of seafarers and having spoken on the relevant topic of seafarers and COVID-19. Ms. Jillian Carson Jackson, FNI, President of NA London, had been supporting our endeavor from the very beginning of this campaign and did her best to make these events a great success. Thank you, Ms. Jillian, for gracing this virtual meeting and speaking to us on the effects of this pandemic on maritime community. On behalf of NA India Southwest Branch, I would like to thank Captain John Lloyd, FNI, CEO, NA London, who had been with us throughout this campaign and supporting us by all means. Thank you, Captain John, for elaborating on this Certificate of Appreciation campaign and for briefing about projects to be undertaken by the Nautical Institute. My sincere thanks to Captain Joseph Alapat, FNI, Vice Chairman of NA India Southwest Branch, who is the Deputy Conservator of Cochin Port, for welcoming the speakers and guests to this virtual platform. As I mentioned, this is the 12th event of this campaign, and most of the awardees are present among our distinguished guests here. I take this opportunity to congratulate them once again and thank each one of them. Whereas we could not appreciate everyone in this regard, there are many who have been left out and we could not accommodate them. Specifically to mention is the offshore sector, and one among them is Mr. Jairaj Kumar and his Ocean Sparkle. They deserve a lot because the entire country, they have the tugs operating and also across the oceans. I would like to thank each and every speaker at all these events once again, most of them present here too. For every good event, it is the media which has to carry the news across the concerned society. I must thank our media partners profusely for all their support, in particular Sailor Today, Marex Bulletin, Bandaka Shipping News, CN Coast, and Saga Sandesh deserve to be mentioned, apart from other news portals, forums, local print, and visual media. At this concluding event of the campaign, it will not be out of place for me to specifically mention that it was the hard work and meticulous planning of Captain Vinod Naveen, FNI, Secretary, NA India Southwest, that translated it into a very successful campaign. On behalf of NA India Southwest and on my own behalf, I thank Captain Vinod profusely for holding our flag so high. Let me also thank our fellow members for their moral support, particularly Captain John Meneses, FNI, past chairman of NA India Southwest, and Captain Joskuti Thomas, FNI, our founder chairman. Let me conclude by thanking all NA members across the globe, sister organizations, organizations like CMMI, seafarer organizations, MUI, NUSI, colleagues, seafarers, and my dear friends for watching us both online and offline and cheering us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Captain Tom Joseph. My sincere thanks to all the speakers on the event. I know we almost kept it on time. I just got a message from Alexandra that, of course, they had informed us earlier that the Secretary General had another event at 12:10 British Summer Time, which was just about 4 or 5 minutes before. So we just, lost him for a last picture with him. But nevertheless, the event comes to a conclusion. So does our campaign. As Captain Tom Joseph said, thank you all. Thank you to all the recipients. Once again, we appreciate the efforts that you've taken. And thank you all for supporting us. I request you can please turn on your cameras now, as well as your mics can be unmuted. Jillian, can you release them? And we can have a small little photo session before we wind up. Alexandra, thank you so much. I think we did not disappoint you, and I hope the Secretary General, His Excellency, was able to join up for the next event.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Vinod, but it still says you cannot start your video because the host has disabled it.
We'll have to go around and open up your videos. That's because we were having trouble with bandwidth. I'll just go around and make sure I open up videos. Everyone else can do that too.
Yes, we are on.
A big thanks to Nautical Institute, Jillian, Captain Vinod Naveen, Nautical Institute Southwest Branch for a wonderful series of appreciation that you have done. It has caught the eye of the world over. We did the seafarers as well as the shipping fraternity family. An excellent event arranged there week after week. My congratulations to all the people who got the appreciation, and I also would like to thank in the word of thanks, truly mention the people who were left over, but they all deserved an appreciation. Thank you very much. Big thanks.
Yes, of course, thanking Nautical Institute again and again. So I do that once again on behalf of Indian Maritime Fraternity. It's a wonderful initiative, wonderful efforts, and it has brought all of us together. And definitely it has been a great motivation, I'm sure, to all the people who have helped the seafarers and the maritime industry. So once again, all the kudos to Nautical Institute, and my personal congratulations to Imo and the entire Maritime. Thank you.
Well done, Nautical Institute. Well done. Proud to be a member.
Heartiest congratulations to the Southwest branch of the Nautical Institute for the series of 12 appreciation webinars that we have had. I must really congratulate Vinod Naveen, Captain Joske Thomas, Captain Joe Salapad, and Captain Menezes, and all others who have put in a wonderful effort. And in the days going ahead, we would like to see the Nautical Institute led by the Southwest branch growing from strength to strength in India, where we have a lot of things to be taken up, and I'm sure we'll be leaders in the days to come. Thank you very much, and congratulations once again.
Thanks to Nautical Institute, particularly the Southwest branch, and Captain Naveen Vinod has done an extremely excellent job keeping the audience engaged and anchored all the events very well. And the appreciation from Nautical Institute is timely, very timely, good thoughts behind it in appreciating the efforts of the industry in getting the seafarers back. As we all said, they are the key workers, and the industry, like never before, got together to achieve what at one time seemed impossible. So thanks to everyone, right from IMO to the local administration, the port officials, everyone in fact got together during this last 6-7 months, and still the process is going on. So this event from Nautical Institute has been a motivating factor. Aim still remains that get the seafarers back to their families. So thanks Nautical Institute, and very well done. Really appreciate it.
work, Captain Vinod, and we appreciate the work which is being done by NI India Southwest. Keep it up.
Hi, Jillian. I think
I would like to take the opportunity here to congratulate you from Belgium, actually, with what you have done with your Southwest India branch. I mean, you know that, I mean, we started this event, or we started this idea in a very small country and very locally. But what the Institute really says is actually that we have to think global and act global. And I am so, I mean, it's really, I mean, fantastic what you and your team have done in actually taking up this small local initiative up to a really national thing. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to all your team. Thank you very much.
Jillian, I think this was such a great series, and I think this is better than any of those series that you see. More popular than the ones you see on Netflix even. So this congratulations and great initiative by Nautical Institute.
Congratulations, Captain from Sri Lanka branch. Great job.
Deepak Shetty, sir, one word from you. You've been patiently listening to all of us. Sir, your mic is muted, sir. Your mic is muted. We still can't hear you.
It'll be icing on the cake when Mr. Deepak Shetty speaks.
Yes, yes.
It'll be the icing on the cake.
So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's an absolute privilege and delight to wind up the proceedings, and hopefully I will have the last say in this in a lighter vein. But I think I must wholeheartedly commend and compliment initiatives that you've undertaken over the past month or so. And since I was associated with one of the felicitations in respect of this one, and now this one, I think this acknowledges with gratitude the enormous work under severe adversities and odds which seafarers are doing. They're virtually the unsung heroes, as it were, unseen and probably unheard. But as the maxim goes, those who stand by and also serve deserve to be complimented. I just have one or two thought pieces to just sort of share with you if this is an appropriate occasion. I think this catastrophe and calamity which has befallen all of us in the past few months drives home the enormity of the challenge which crisis managements, which we need to do scenario building for conceivably all kinds of scenarios. And you could never have anticipated something like this at all going forward. This also drives home the criticality of risk management. I think, and this is an issue which probably does not have adequate resonance to my mind just as yet in the maritime training institutions. So this is an opportune moment to drive that really. You know, we've also learned about the fact that there has been this disintermediation, disruptions and the like. I have a tangible suggestion to offer here, which is, there is a typical mad scramble to rise in terms of various jurisdiction and sovereign governments in the rankings of ease of doing business. You know, this has got such an enormous aspirational value, the ease of doing business. You know, we have literally vaulted 50 places in this as a country. To my mind, this ease of doing business ranking, which is devised by the World Bank, if some weightage could be assigned to the treatment that is meted to essential workers such as those in the maritime sector in terms of facilitating and, in terms of ensuring that these transactions go through seamlessly, I'm sure if due weightage is assigned after due deliberations and diligence, this hopefully will fast track, what we want to bring in terms of visibility to the maritime workers. And finally, I think this also underscores the fact that in terms of India's geostrategic and national policies, including a national maritime policy, we need to bring maritime transportation up front and center. Unfortunately, we don't have a very holistic and perspective view to this, but to my mind, if we need to take maritime transportation to the next level, we need to ensure that in the broader scheme of things, which envelops the geostrategic influence which policy should have in every jurisdiction, we need to drive home this point. With this, I think I would like to once again commend you wholeheartedly. And while you have recognized umpteen organizations and individuals for their stellar contributions made, over the past several months, I'm sure there have been several others for various reasons have probably, not been recognized. But this is not to diminish the value of their contributions. And I'm sure, in their own spheres, they would find their peace in the sun. So I take this opportunity to wish everyone associated with this industry the very best, both on their professional and personal fronts. Thank you so much for having me this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. The Nautical Institute, India Southwest, is grateful for your support and appreciation. His Excellency, Mr. Kitaklin, could not take any questions from the audience today, but he did assure us that the questions from you, which has come in the chat box, will be forwarded to his office, and we will hear from him. As you know, the IMO had declared the theme for Bay of the Seafarer 2020, seafarers are the key workers. The IMO also had exhorted the member states to provide support, assistance, and travel options to the seafarer. We hope that the member states will really take this seriously, and we hope our administration makes a solid beginning in this respect. For instance, if our seafarers could get the privilege of priority check-in at the airports, priority check-in passing through the immigration, and where we see the notice presently which says airline crew has priority, we see the notice there which says seafarers and the airline crew have priority in check-in. That will greatly provide that kind of recognition that our seafarers need. I'd like to add that in 1974, when I joined my first ship, I did not have a passport. I traveled the world over on the strength of my Indian CDC. That was the only document I had. But today, for a seafarer to join a ship, it is absolutely cumbersome, and if the ship gets diverted at the last minute, you can forget about that crew change. It not only affects the crew who are waiting to join the ship, it affects the people who had to sign off, and entire pandemonium results now. We hope that the member states will work towards providing free travel for the seamen with proper documents, and our government's initiative like RPS, Recruitment and Placement Service Rules, wherein the recruitment agencies take full responsibility for their crew. Why we should have this cumbersome visa requirements for crew to join ships? So all questions and observations we have acknowledged, and we will forward to the IMO Secretariat in due course. Thank you all so much. It was a great pleasure in having you all here. Thank you.
Captain Andy Winbo and Captain John Lloyd, thank you so much for supporting the Southwest branch to get to the IMO Secretary General's office to make this event possible. Thank you. Alexandra, thank you so much for all the back work that you did for getting this event on with the Secretary General. Thank you.
Captain Vino, well done. Can I just thank all of the participants for joining us, not only today, but on for many, many of the series. I think Captain Vino and Jillian, you hold the most frequent coffee stamps in the book. So well done indeed. I need to draw stumps, as they say, to attend another meeting, but just to say thank you very much to everyone today, and enjoy the rest of the week. And Captain Vino, you and I will catch up shortly anyway. So,
thank you.
So thank you very much, everybody. And since I'm the one who holds the Zoom account, I am about to close. So this meeting is now going to be over. It's been wonderful. It's been an amazing series. Thank you so much, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night for me.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
for watching.